I want to share something with you that may genuinely change the way you sleep for the rest of your life. Every single night, while you are sleeping peacefully, something extraordinary is happening inside your brain. A microscopic cleaning crew is working at full speed. It is washing away toxic proteins. It is flushing out cellular waste. It is preventing the buildup of compounds that over decades become the plaques and tangles associated with Alzheimer's disease. Scientists discovered this system in 2012. They call it the glymphatic system. And here is the part that should stop every single senior in their tracks. This brain cleaning crew only works properly when you sleep in certain positions. In other positions, the cleaning slows dramatically. In one position specifically, the cleaning can grind almost to a halt, allowing toxic proteins to accumulate night after night, year after year. For someone over 70, this is not a small detail. This is potentially the single most important factor determining whether your brain ages with grace or slips quietly into cognitive decline over the next decade. Let me tell you about a man I will call Howard. Howard was 74 years old, a retired engineer from Cleveland, Ohio. His wife of 48 years brought him to my office because she was scared. Over the past 3 years, Howard's memory had been slipping. He would forget conversations from earlier that day. He repeated questions. He had stopped doing the crossword puzzles he had loved his entire life. His primary care doctor had told them it was just normal aging. But here is what nobody had asked Howard. How does he sleep? Howard slept flat on his back, every single night, for the past 35 years, with a thin pillow under his head, hands folded over his chest, mouth slightly open. He sometimes snored. I asked Howard's wife to help him try sleeping on his side, specifically his right side, with a slightly thicker pillow supporting his head. We worked together for 3 months to make this transition. When Howard came back at the 6-month mark, his wife was crying in my office. But these were not tears of fear. These were tears of relief. She said, "Doctor, my husband is coming back. He did the crossword last week. He remembered our anniversary date for the first time in 2 years. He is back." My name is Dr. Franklin, and what I am about to share with you in the next 23 minutes is some of the most cutting-edge brain health science available today. Information that almost no senior has heard. Information that could be the difference between a sharp mind in your 80s and a quiet decline you cannot reverse. Stay with me through all 3 mistakes because number 2 is so common that 70% of seniors over 70 do it every single night. And number one is something that almost every senior considers harmless, but the research now shows it may be the single most damaging sleep habit for the aging brain. Before we begin, drop a comment below and tell me your age and which sleeping position you typically use, back, side, or stomach. I read every single comment, and I want to know how this community is sleeping. Alright, let us begin. Before I share these 3 mistakes, you need to understand exactly what is happening inside your aging brain every single night. Because once you understand this, everything I say next will make complete sense. In 2012, researchers at the University of Rochester Medical Center discovered something that completely changed our understanding of how the brain takes care of itself. They identified a network of tiny channels that run alongside your blood vessels deep inside your brain. These channels allow cerebrospinal fluid to flow in, wash through the brain tissue, collect waste products, and flush them out. They named this system the glymphatic system. Think of it as the brain's overnight janitorial service. Here is what is extraordinary about this discovery. The glymphatic system is largely shut down during your waking hours. It only fully activates during deep sleep. During those critical hours, the brain's cleaning crew goes to work, flushing out toxic proteins, including the 2 most dangerous ones, beta amyloid and tau. These are the exact proteins that build up to form the plaques and tangles seen in Alzheimer's disease. Without the glymphatic system, these toxic proteins would accumulate every single day and quickly overwhelm the brain. With a healthy glymphatic system, they are flushed out nightly, keeping your brain clean and functional. Now here is the part that should change how every senior sleeps. Research published in the prestigious journal Science has demonstrated that the glymphatic system functions dramatically differently depending on body position during sleep. It is most effective when you sleep on your side. It is significantly less effective when you sleep on your back. and it is least effective when you sleep on your stomach. But the position of your body is not the only thing that matters. The angle of your head, the way you breathe through the night, and certain habits that disturb deep sleep also dramatically affect how well your brain cleans itself. Picture it this way. Imagine your brain is a city, and the glymphatic system is the garbage collection service. Every night, the trucks come through and pick up the waste from each neighborhood. If the streets are wide and clear, the trucks move efficiently, and every neighborhood gets serviced. If the streets are narrow and blocked, some trucks cannot reach certain areas, and waste accumulates. Over months and years, the neighborhoods that never get serviced become so polluted that nothing can grow there anymore. That is what happens in the brains of seniors who consistently sleep in positions that disrupt glymphatic flow. The waste builds up, the plaques form, the cognitive decline begins. Now let us identify the 3 biggest sleeping mistakes that are slowly destroying brain health in seniors over 70. Coming in at number 3 is a mistake that surprisingly many seniors do, often without realizing it, and often defending it because it feels comfortable. I know what some of you are thinking. Doctor, I have slept on my stomach my entire life. I am 72 years old. Nothing has happened to me. Here is the painful truth. The damage from stomach sleeping is silent and cumulative. It does not announce itself with dramatic symptoms. It accumulates quietly, night after night, for decades. Let me explain exactly why stomach sleeping is so damaging to the aging brain. When you sleep on your stomach, your head must be turned sharply to one side so you can breathe. This forces your neck into an extreme rotation that you would never tolerate during the day. For 6 to 8 hours every night, you are putting your cervical spine in a position that compresses major blood vessels and pinches critical nerves. But the bigger problem is what happens to the blood flow to your brain. Running through the bones of your neck are 2 arteries called the vertebral arteries. These arteries carry approximately 20% of all the blood flowing to your brain. When your neck is rotated extremely to one side, these arteries can become partially kinked. Blood flow to the back portions of your brain slows. Oxygen delivery to your brainstem and cerebellum is reduced. For 6 to 8 hours every single night, your brain is being slowly starved of oxygen. Not enough to wake you up. Not enough to cause obvious symptoms, but enough, over years and decades, to accelerate cognitive decline. A 2023 study published in the journal Sleep Medicine Reviews examined the effects of habitual stomach sleeping in adults over 60. The researchers found that consistent stomach sleepers showed measurable reductions in nocturnal cerebral blood flow and elevated markers of brain inflammation compared to side sleepers. There is a second problem with stomach sleeping that affects breathing. Your rib cage is pressed against the mattress. Every breath you take all night is fighting against compression. Your diaphragm cannot fully descend. You never reach the deep, full breaths that your body needs to maintain proper oxygen levels during sleep. The result is mild but chronic nocturnal hypoxia, which means reduced oxygen levels during sleep. The brain is the most oxygen-hungry organ in your body. It uses 20% of all the oxygen you breathe. Even mild oxygen reduction night after night damages brain cells, particularly the delicate ones in regions responsible for memory. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine you live in a house with a beautiful garden, but every single night you put a kink in the main water supply line for 8 hours. The plants closest to the source still get some water. The plants at the far end get almost nothing. Over the months and years, those distant plants slowly die. That is what stomach sleeping does to the regions of your brain that depend on full blood flow. The fix is to gradually transition to side sleeping. If you have slept on your stomach for decades, you cannot change overnight. Place a body pillow lengthwise next to you, then roll onto your side with the body pillow against your front. The body pillow gives you the pressure sensation against your chest that stomach sleepers crave, while allowing your spine to remain neutral and your breathing to be unrestricted. Most patients adapt within 14 days when they use this technique consistently. Now we arrive at number 2, and this is the mistake that 70% of seniors over 70 are making every single night. The mistake that almost no doctor warns their patients about. The mistake that decades of research is now showing may be one of the largest contributing factors to age-related cognitive decline. Sleeping flat on your back. I know this is going to surprise some of you, Back sleeping has been recommended for decades for spinal health, for reducing acid reflux, for preventing wrinkles. And in younger people with healthy spines and healthy breathing patterns, it is generally fine. For seniors over 70, the picture changes dramatically. Here is what the research now shows. A landmark 2023 study from the University of Rochester Medical Center found that seniors who slept primarily in the supine position, which is the medical term for flat on your back, with their heads at body level for more than 2 hours per night, had up to 4 times higher risk of developing dementia compared to those who slept on their sides. 4 times higher risk. Let me say that again, because the number is so significant. Seniors who sleep flat on their back for more than 2 hours per night quadruple their dementia risk compared to side sleepers. This finding held true regardless of age, gender, snoring, or whether they had been diagnosed with sleep apnea. Why is this happening? When you sleep flat on your back, 3 things happen simultaneously that are devastating for the aging brain. First, your glymphatic system functions at significantly reduced efficiency. Multiple studies have demonstrated that the brain's waste clearance system flows best when you are positioned on your side, particularly your right side. In the supine position, cerebrospinal fluid does not flow through the brain tissue as efficiently. The cleaning crew works at half speed. Second, your tongue tends to fall backward into your throat, partially blocking your airway. Even if you do not have diagnosed sleep apnea, this minor blockage causes hundreds of micro-arousals throughout the night. Your oxygen levels dip briefly. Your brain has to wake itself up slightly to clear the airway. You may not consciously notice these awakenings, but your brain does. The result is fragmented, shallow sleep that prevents you from reaching the deep, slow-wave sleep stages where the glymphatic system is most active. Third, your blood pressure regulation is impaired. The cardiovascular system responds differently to gravity when you are flat on your back compared to on your side. For aging hearts with already compromised circulation, the supine position can mean slightly reduced blood flow to the brain for hours at a time. If you are still here with me and finding this useful, please type the number 2 in the comments. It tells me you are still watching and helps this video reach more seniors who need this information. Let me share another patient story. Eleanor, 78, from Phoenix, Arizona. She had been a back sleeper her entire life. Her family had begun to notice subtle memory changes over the past 2 years. Nothing dramatic, just small things, forgetting appointments, struggling to recall names she used to know easily. We made one change. We transitioned her to right-side sleeping with proper pillow support. After 8 months, her family came to me and reported that Eleanor's word recall had noticeably improved. She was sleeping more deeply, she felt sharper in the mornings. I am not telling you that sleeping position alone reverses dementia. I am telling you that for many seniors, this single change can dramatically reduce the rate of cognitive decline and may improve mild symptoms. The fix is to transition to right-side sleeping. Use a body pillow against your back to prevent rolling onto your back during the night. Place a small pillow between your knees to keep your spine aligned. Use a slightly thicker head pillow that maintains your neck in a neutral position, with your head supported but not tilted significantly. Why right side specifically? Research suggests that the right side position may optimize cardiovascular efficiency and glymphatic flow simultaneously. The heart's natural orientation and the position of major blood vessels make this position uniquely beneficial for nighttime brain cleaning. And now we arrive at number 1. The single most damaging sleeping habit for the aging brain. The mistake that almost every senior considers harmless or just an inconvenient annoyance. The mistake that the latest research now shows may be the single largest preventable contributor to cognitive decline in adults over 70. Untreated snoring and mouth breathing during sleep. I know what some of you are thinking. Doctor, I have snored my entire life. My wife complains about it, but it has never bothered me. Here is the painful truth. Snoring is not just an annoying sound. It is a warning sign that your airway is partially obstructed during sleep. And when your airway is obstructed, even slightly, the impact on your aging brain is profound. Let me explain exactly what is happening when you snore or breathe through your mouth at night. Every snore is the sound of air being forced through a partially blocked airway. The muscles in your throat have relaxed during sleep, and your tongue, soft palate, and other soft tissues partially close off the breathing passage. To force air through this narrowed space, your body has to work harder. Each breath becomes a small struggle. Your oxygen levels dip with every restricted breath. When this happens occasionally, your body handles it. When this happens for 6 to 8 hours every single night, decade after decade, the cumulative oxygen deprivation slowly damages brain tissue, particularly in the regions most vulnerable to Alzheimer's disease. The research on this is devastating. A 2022 review published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease analyzed dozens of studies on sleep-disordered breathing and cognitive decline. The conclusion was stark. Untreated obstructive sleep apnea, even in mild forms, accelerates the accumulation of beta-amyloid plaques in the brain. Adults over 65 with untreated sleep-disordered breathing showed measurably faster progression toward dementia compared to those whose breathing was treated. A second mechanism makes this even worse. Mouth breathing during sleep dries out your airways and reduces nitric oxide production in your nasal passages. Nitric oxide is critical for vasodilation, which means it keeps your blood vessels open. Without enough nitric oxide produced overnight, the blood vessels supplying your brain become slightly constricted. Combined with reduced oxygen from disrupted breathing, this creates a perfect storm for brain damage. If you have made it this far, please hit the like button. It tells YouTube that this content matters to seniors, and it helps the algorithm push it to more people who need to see it. There is a third mechanism that is especially damaging for the aging brain. Every time your airway partially closes during sleep, your brain registers it as a stress event. Cortisol spikes. Adrenaline surges briefly. Your heart rate increases. Your brain partially wakes itself to clear the airway. You return to sleep without remembering any of it. These microaerosols can happen hundreds of times per night in someone who snores heavily. Each one prevents you from staying in the deep, slow-wave sleep that your glymphatic system needs to clean your brain. So even if you are technically getting 8 hours of sleep, the quality of that sleep is so poor that your brain never gets thoroughly cleaned. Now here is the most important part. If you snore, you may have undiagnosed obstructive sleep apnea. Studies estimate that approximately 50% of adults over 70 have some degree of sleep apnea, and the vast majority of them have never been diagnosed or treated. Untreated sleep apnea is associated with increased risk of stroke, heart disease, hypertension, and yes, dementia. The good news is that it is highly treatable. Many seniors who get treatment experience dramatic improvements in their cognitive function, energy levels, and mood within months. Let me share one final story. Margaret, 79, from Charleston, South Carolina. She had been snoring for over 30 years. Her family had begged her to see a doctor about it. She had always refused, calling it just a minor annoyance. In her late 70s, she began to experience significant memory problems. Her family was convinced she was developing dementia. We finally convinced her to do a sleep study. The results showed severe undiagnosed sleep apnea. She started using a CPAP machine, which is a small device that provides a gentle flow of air through a mask to keep the airway open during sleep. 6 months later, Margaret returned to my office. Her memory had not just stabilized, it had improved meaningfully. Her family said she was the sharpest she had been in over a decade. The cognitive decline they had attributed to dementia had actually been caused in large part by years of brain oxygen deprivation from untreated sleep apnea. I am not saying every memory problem is sleep apnea, but I am saying that if you snore, if you wake up tired despite a full night of sleep, if you breathe through your mouth at night, you need to be evaluated. How to address this? First, see your doctor and request a sleep study, also called a polysomnography. Many can now be done at home. The cost is usually covered by Medicare. The results will tell you whether you have sleep apnea and how severe it is. If you do have sleep apnea, treatment options include CPAP therapy, which is the gold standard for moderate to severe cases. For mild cases, there are oral appliances that hold the jaw in a position that keeps the airway open. For some people, positional therapy alone, meaning sleeping on the side instead of the back, dramatically reduces apnea events. You can also support healthier nighttime breathing by elevating the head of your bed slightly, avoiding alcohol within 3 hours of bed, maintaining a healthy weight, treating any nasal congestion, and considering nasal breathing exercises like the technique I have demonstrated in previous videos. So now you know the 3 mistakes: stomach sleeping, back sleeping, and untreated snoring or mouth breathing. Here is your simple, 4-step plan starting tonight. Step 1. Identify your current sleeping pattern. Do you sleep on your stomach, your back, your side, some combination? Be honest. You may not even know. Ask your spouse or family member to observe you for a few nights. Pay attention to which position you wake up in. Step 2. Begin the transition to right side sleeping. Use a body pillow lengthwise behind your back to prevent rolling onto your back during the night. Place a small pillow between your knees to keep your spine aligned. Use a properly thick head pillow that supports your neck in a neutral position. Give yourself 14 to 30 days to fully adapt. The first few nights may feel uncomfortable. Push through. Step 3. Address breathing issues. If you snore, breathe through your mouth at night, or wake up feeling unrested, request a sleep study from your doctor. Do not delay this. Even mild sleep apnea is causing brain damage every single night you do not treat it. Get evaluated. Step 4. Optimize your bedroom environment. Keep the temperature between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Eliminate light, reduce noise. Stop using screens at least an hour before bed. Avoid alcohol within 3 hours of bedtime. These basic sleep hygiene practices dramatically improve the quality of your deep sleep, which is when your glymphatic system does its most important work. I want to give you 2 additional brain protective sleep habits that go beyond the 3 main mistakes I have covered. First, slightly elevate the head of your bed by about 4 to 6 inches. You can use a wedge pillow or place blocks under the head end of your bed frame. This slight elevation supports cerebrospinal fluid flow, reduces acid reflux, and may further improve glymphatic clearance overnight. The angle is gentle, not so steep that you are sitting up, just enough to support gravity-assisted drainage of brain waste. Second, prioritize getting to bed by 11 p.m. at the latest. The deepest, most restorative sleep stages, the ones where your glymphatic system is most active, occur during the first half of the night for most people. Going to bed too late means you may miss these critical cleaning windows even if you sleep 8 hours total. Earlier bedtime, before 11 p.m., allows your brain to capture the most restorative sleep cycles available. These 2 additions, combined with the 3 main fixes, create what neurology researchers informally call a brain-protective sleep environment. Implemented consistently over months and years, this can dramatically support cognitive longevity. I want to close with something that has nothing to do with science. The most precious thing you have as you age is not your money, it is not your home, it is not even your physical health in the broadest sense. It is your mind, your memories, your stories, your laughter at jokes from 50 years ago, your grandchildren's names, your spouse's favorite meal, the first time you held your daughter, the day you bought your house, the moment your son graduated, the afternoon you finally caught that fish. These are not just memories, they are who you are. And every single night, when you close your eyes and drift off to sleep, your brain is either protecting those memories or quietly letting them slip away. The position of your body, the way you breathe, the depth of your sleep, these are not minor details. These are the determining factors of whether you wake up tomorrow with your full self intact. You deserve to keep your mind. You deserve to remain the sharp, present, engaged person you have always been. You deserve to recognize your grandchildren when they walk through the door. You deserve to tell your stories at the dinner table for years to come. The medical system has spent decades treating dementia as inevitable, as something that happens to certain unlucky seniors and cannot be prevented. The research from the past 10 years is showing us a very different picture. Many cases of cognitive decline are partly driven by factors we can control: sleep position, breathing quality, sleep depth. You cannot control everything about how your brain ages, but you can control how you sleep. That is the gift this video is offering you today. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me one thing. Will you commit to sleeping on your right side starting tonight? Just type yes if you commit. That public commitment makes you 3 times more likely to actually do it. The research is clear on that, and if anyone you love is over 70, please share this video with them. Almost every senior is making at least one of these 3 mistakes, completely unaware of what it is doing to their brain. You might be the only person who ever tells them. If this video gave you a single piece of information that you did not have an hour ago, please hit the like button. It tells YouTube to show this video to more seniors who urgently need this information. Subscribe to this channel and hit the bell. Every single week, I publish content like this designed specifically for adults over 60 who want to take control of their health in ways the medical system never taught them. Next week, I will be revealing the 3 foods that you should eat in the 2 hours before bed to specifically support overnight brain cleaning. One of them is so simple that almost no senior thinks of it as a brain food, but the data behind it is remarkable. You will not want to miss it. Until then, sleep wisely, protect that brain. It has been carrying everything you are for a very long time. It deserves this care. I am Dr. Franklin. I will see you in the next one.